From Yrland regained, Central Cantos by Kevin Kiely, www.kevinkiely.net. Canto IV. Invader Hatred, Central London export. On the Desk, Spenser, Shakespeare, Milton, Donne dead ending Yrland, Swinburne in sonnets sanitizing Cromwell. And you marvel Horson Whippet on the death of scumbag Crombag wrote, his looks that piercing sweetness shed. Walter Swinburne winning on nifty Shergar kidnapped by Ira Trojan horsemeat of the 35-year war from Ballymenny stud horsebox driven towards Leitrim. Shergar with nerves shot, Kevin Mallon demands £5 million off Aga Khan while Rab Butler, Nikikyo lay low. Lionel Johnson fawning on Charles I. Political poet a loss falling off a high stool in a pub lost lives leitmotif. Strum year lines Billy Blake of Rock N Bliss begged 'em sell the Thames to cleanse it. Beg Milton's mighty line to be unburnt. Did Yrland burn it? Blake alone tells it true of London Satan. His right foot stretched to the sea on Dover's cliffs, his heel on Canterbury's ruins, his right hand covers lofty Wales, his left hand Scotland, his right elbow leans on the rocks of Erin's land, Yrland, ancient nation. Nation ancient and Canterbury de sacral. Le Chaucer mute on truth of Canterbury. Saint Becket given with jesting hints. Chauce, court poet in royal knickers. Blake, bottler of pickled Milton, he who partied with Lucifer. Presented a dove that landed on Cromwell's table, hand-fed thus, Milton's religion is the cause, says Blake. And all but swats him from Parnassus. Saying, mundane shell, whence his muse's clarion. Blake saw Brexit coming, the body of Albion was closed apart from all nations. Nec cogitatio intellectis est virtutum peculiarem de poetica. Poetry's virtue most peculiar. Yes, fuck intellectual rhetoric as mere verse careers advertising. Wirish less than dogs in loan-down snobbery. So-called empire clings to burgomaster puppet monarchy paraphernalia. Power Maze H. England 2018-19. 6 county costs plus H. Block Memorial and all Republican mausoleums future fingers on unheard of triggers. Leaving Europe's small beer with landfill colonials on the mainland. Roll on Muslim African Indian Pakistani ring citizenship from the overlords of Lordy Don. Meredith's Edwardian image from the Channel Dover's cliffs, a giant book unopened. Book of Doom, lid of sickly green, lifts to open a mass grave charnel house sepulchral, sarcophagus landscape H. England whited sepulchre in Yrland's dreams of war. Saxons, quicklime faces, soundtrack of slaughter images repeating, kings and conquests. Sassoon's sepulchre of crime Owens non-dulce rhyming story and mori. Elizabethan to modern British poets bought ones, unbought ones. Poet killer Hughes the supreme fraud in Laureate list. Give it Wordsworth, Tennyson as laurelled not Southey, Dobson, Masefield, cornstalk poets, scarecrows in verse C.S. Lewis C.S. Gas verse. Betjeman Brit-spy in Dublin World War II evolved into crashing BBC bore. Larkin's single-string lyre run over by a Qualcast lawnmower. Twang, twang toe the line content. A non-emotion fakes fake. Who racially stated an evil day when English poetry fell into the hands of the Americans and Irish. Timor Londonis. Sassoon fought London and World War I. Evil and unjust, men are being sacrificed, court-martialed, dismissed with battle fatigue. Read out in Westminster, dismissed. Meets Wilfred Owen on War Shot Nerves. Craig Lockhart, Army Psyche Bin. Sass sees Wilf as Keatsian, and Graves met them. Thence to Limerick. Sassoon and Irish War of Independence back in France near killed by friendly fire. Blighty and the Daily News on counterattack, book of protests of a tortured spirit, not poetry. And Sassoon in Harvard when a pile of dishes crash to the floor, dives under the table, trench manners, a non-soldier professor complains. Yet, Sass shows war guts, glory and lies, knowing sham poetry as pernicious as sham religion. And Milton knew Irish rebels justly made our vassals. Is there absolution in my songs? First published, Ciphers, 89, 2020. Yrland. Line breaks for video purposes and not coterminous with print version.